Welcome back to another sermon recap. We are talking this week about 7 Habits for Spiritual Life, Part 7, which is the final part of this series of sermons. And the final habit we are talking about today is gratitude, being grateful, practicing that habit of looking around us and seeing all the things in our daily life, on both the big picture and small picture, that we're grateful for. And when we really start to spend time thinking about that or reflecting on it or expressing that gratitude, we find that it just starts to snowball, that we can think of all kinds of things in any particular day that, or any particular moment, that is a gift that we can be thankful for. The story that I couched this subject in this week was the story of the prodigal son, a well-known story about a father who had 2 sons. The younger son asked his father for the inheritance that was due him, and he got it, and he went off to a far country, and he wasted everything that he had been given on riotous or prodigal living. And it says when he came to his senses, he realized that at his father's house, even if he was a servant there, he would have much more than he had there where he was, because no one gave him anything. His job was to feed the swine, and he would have been grateful to have even the slop that the swine had. But no one gave him anything, the story says. So he came to his senses, went back to his father. His father ran out to greet him, hugged him, kissed him. He had orders given to kill the fatted calf and throw a big party in celebration of his son who was lost and then was found. Now, what does that have to do with gratitude? Well, when we're ungrateful, we tend to waste the gifts that we're given. We don't really see them for what they are. When he realized how precious all the stuff that he had been given was, then he came to his senses and realized that he needed to go back to his father. Now, the story, of course, is the father is a picture of the Lord, and the Lord who gives us everything. And if we're ungrateful or if we waste it, our lives sort of fall apart. But we can recognize with humility that everything that we do have is a blessing from the Lord. Then we can have a party, so to speak, which is really the heavenly, joyful way of life. Now, the other part of that story, which isn't often talked about, is there's an older son who was upset that his father had thrown this party for the younger son, because he was always there, always did the right thing, but his father never threw a party for him. But then his son, who wasted everything and went off and wasted on prostitutes and riotous living, came back. His father threw a party for him. So he was jealous, unhappy. He wouldn't go to the party. And his father reminded him that, everything I have is yours. It's always yours. So really you should be happy that our son who was lost is found again. So it's another picture of more or less ingratitude. Even though he did all the right things, he really wasn't grateful for it. And he was kept from the party, kept from the state of happiness because of that attitude. So the challenge this week is really to think about every day, just wake up and start going through that list of what you're grateful for. Grateful that I had a warm bed to sleep in. Grateful that I get to have breakfast if we're blessed to have those gifts of our life. Maybe you have a partner that you're grateful for. Maybe you have a pet that you love, children. You have a church community. You have a safe community that you live in. Maybe you have a car. Maybe you can afford gas. Whatever it is, there's so many things that we can be grateful for if we really just start to list them off. And so the Lord actually says that when we have humility of heart, which really is recognizing that everything I have is from the Lord, it's not for myself, then the Lord can flow in and give us heavenly happiness and all these blessings that he wants to give us. But if we don't have a humble heart, it's like that older son, that we keep ourselves away from that joy and that happiness. So, good luck with this. Practice it. Remember the story of the manna every day. There's little blessings. Just gather them all up, and it's enough to sustain us for the whole day, for our whole life. Just keep our eyes open, our heart open, be grateful, and we will find delight and joy. All right, have a great week. We'll see you next time.